Okay, so today's video is gonna be all about answering your questions around quitting drinking. I don't even wanna hesitate, I wanna jump right in. So I got so much positive feedback from you guys. You were all cheering me on. I love that. We have the best community over here. But one of the biggest questions that I got repeatedly was, how did I start cutting back? And I didn't, because I'd been doing that for years. I had been trying to cut back for years and that didn't work for me. So what I literally needed to do was sit down and say, Monday, April 22nd, 2024, that's it. It's done. And honestly, on Sunday, I was feeling so calm. There were no like Sunday scaries around doing this. I was so calm and I was like, I'm ready. But I had to feel ready. There was so many years guys, where I just didn't feel ready and I would make the decision to do it and it would be a lot of nervous, doubtful energy and it always resulted in the same thing. I would quit, white knuckle grip it for a couple of days, weeks even, and then cave and go back to it. This time I knew it had to be different and cutting back wasn't an option for me. It literally had to be pick a date, stick to it, boom, done. And that's what I did. Monday morning, I woke up and I'm like, today's the day, let's do it. But I was literally so ready to do it that it just felt like a breath of fresh air for me to finally be taking steps in the direction of actually quitting for good. And that kind of mindset is really what drove me forward, because I'm like, okay, I've had enough of how I've been living. I don't want to live that way anymore. So I'm drawing a line in the sand. Monday morning, it was like the new fresh start. And it was like, okay, we're doing this now. We're not doing that anymore. I personally love this question. It says, tips for retraining your brain. When cutting back, I still have panic added booze to my cart in the store. Thank you for making this video for us. So for me, I completely avoid that section of the store in the beginning. And what I found is that, yeah, you will panic add because you've been doing it for so long. It's part of your routine. You go to the grocery store, if you're like me, and you hit up the produce, you hit up the meats, you hit up the liquor, and then or the alcohol, and then you hit up, the processed food, and then you hit up the cleaning aisle at the end. Like, that's how my store is set up. So you kind of just go through the motions. In the very beginning, I think, especially in terms of going and buying things. In Pennsylvania, you can actually buy wine and beer from your grocery store. If you want liquor, you have to go to an actual liquor store. So that was easy to avoid that. But then, my big thing was wine. So like, I'm in the grocery store and I would be making like a salmon dinner and I'd get a bottle of wine to complement that. In order to break that habit, you have to do something differently. So you either avoid that area of the store, is what I did. I did a couple grocery pickups just so that I didn't even have to be tempted. Taking yourself and distancing yourself from the situation is definitely what worked best for me, but everyone's going to be a little bit different. And I've actually worked with clients since I've quit. I've worked with clients and they're like, can you help me? And we've troubleshot their specific days, their specific routines to really maximize their success in whatever they're trying to do, whatever habits you're trying to increase or decrease. So whether you're trying to cut back on alcohol or quit drinking alcohol, or whether you're trying to get more steps and drink more water, it's all the same. And that's another thing for retraining your brain. You've got to stop thinking alcohol is this big, nasty thing. I mean, is it more addictive than, say, trying to drink more water? Is it more part of our subconscious? Yes. But that just means that we just have to be more strategic about it. And if this is really resonating and you're looking for someone to help you with your weight loss journey, with all of these habit creations, definitely check down below for all of my coaching links. They are there. We are open. I do not take any time off for Christmas. So this is the time when everyone needs support the most for weight loss. So this is when I'm usually my busiest. But check down below. All of the links are there to support you. As far as retraining your brain, it is like creating a new habit. But that is the best news ever, because you can retrain your brain to drink more water, to get more steps because you want to. You can actually retrain your brain to see the benefits of not drinking alcohol as more important than actually drinking it. And that's what happened for me. I'm going to put the book on screen here. This book literally changed my life. It really reframed how I think about alcohol, how I thought about incorporating it into my day, how I decided to restructure my day so that it didn't include it. Highly recommend this book. I will have it linked down below as well in case you want to check it out. That book changed everything for me. And if anyone's looking for a resource, that's it. But to end on this one, is it possible to retrain your brain to quit drinking alcohol? Absolutely. The biggest thing is you have to want to do it. And then once you get to that point, and once you start seeing that the scales are being tipped, you're wanting the benefits of not drinking more than drinking, that's when you can kind of say, okay, I think I'm ready to start taking the steps to cut back or cut out. And that is definitely where I started, because if I wasn't ready to actually quit, if I still was enjoying it so much, and yeah, people were saying it was bad for you, but I still love it, I wasn't there yet. I had to have that scale tip so that I saw the benefits of not drinking as being more than the benefits of drinking. This was also a question I got a few times. I've been thinking of quitting for a while, but don't know how. I've got a lot of people behind the scenes who are dabbling in quitting, and I love that. That's exactly why I created this video and the previous one as well. And then she goes on to say, what made you quit and how did your family and friends react? Any tips to navigating the social scene without drinking? So this is such a great question because it is hard when it's part of your daily life, almost daily life, to be around. You end up being around people who are also doing the things that you are. It's probably that if you are a daily drinker, you're around other people who are normalizing that or who are doing it too. And if you like going to happy hours, things like that, like it will drastically change what you're doing, where you're doing it, and the people that you're surrounding yourself with. So what I found is that I had to be really solid in my choice. And this is kind of my personality too, everybody. Like, I don't care what anybody's doing. I don't care what anybody's thinking. I don't care what they think of me. I don't care about any of it. All I care about is, what is my intuition telling me to do next? How do I feel about my decision? Am I confident in it? And that's it. So if anybody in my life was not supportive, I would say, that's fine. You don't have to support me for me to be successful. It really doesn't matter to me what you think. And that's been my mantra for a couple of years now, after building up my self-love and building up my self-confidence. Not everybody's like that. So you have to really build up your confidence first and your self-love first, which is also something I do in my mentorships, because it's such a big part of us following our intuition and getting to our goals, whether that be, losing weight, getting to our goal weight, whether that be quitting drinking, whether that be increasing our healthy lifestyle habits. So whatever you're trying to do, you really have to make that decision from your inside out, because nobody outside of you is going to have the answers to what you should do next in your life. It's all inside of us. So for me, I already had that confidence. I didn't care what anybody said. And then once I was ready on that Monday morning, I was ready to just be done. It was kind of like a long time coming, and it was easy. So any kind of resistance that would have came my way or that did come my way didn't matter at all. And then to answer the question about, I've been thinking about quitting for a while but don't know how, refer back to question 1 that I answered in this video. It's like you have to just decide. Decide is such a great word, because you either decide that you want this life or you decide you want the new life. Like you literally have to decide. So it's like, are you going to decide that you're going to cut back and you're only going to drink certain days and you're going to put some rules on yourself? That's fine. But for me, that didn't work. So I had to literally decide and say, okay, as of this day, I'm done. And it really can be that easy. I know people are like, how do I do this? That's exactly how easy it can be. But the key with that is deciding and then sticking to that decision. And that's kind of the strategy and the navigation that, support can get for you, whether it's a coach or a mentor or a therapist. That's important too. And then tips for navigating the social scene. You guys, this is, it's hard because it's everywhere. You turn on the TV, every other commercial is partying, or especially like during sporting events, it's like the beers and then the snacks and all this stuff. It's like we're constantly being tempted and we're constantly getting shown that this is normal. It's normal to just drink. But now we kind of are weighing the options. We're like, well, wait, I know it's not really good for me, but like everybody's normalizing it. So like, what's the right answer? The right answer is whatever you feel is right for you. That's always going to be the right answer. So for me, social scenes, I'm a mom of 2. I'm not going out like I used to. Would it have been a lot harder for me 10 years ago? Heck yes. It would have been a struggle bus. I'm not going to lie, because we used to go to happy hours all the time. I had no kids. It was just a different world. Now I'm home. So now it's like if I'm going out to eat now, I love it. I actually love going out to eat and just getting a soda, getting a club soda, getting a mocktail or something, as long as it's not too sugary, trying things like that. But I don't make it about the alcohol anymore. It used to be that when I would go out to eat, my main focus would be like, where's the waitress? I want my champagne. Or where's the waitress? I want my glass of wine. Now it's like, no, I'm more focused on other things. And it's the same process that I teach my clients with food. It's like we can't go into situations with food as our main focus, because it's not going to be reliable. It's not going to allow us to enjoy the event. It's not going to allow us to really capture those amazing moments of whoever we're there with. So we really need to separate the focus of food and drink away from whatever we're doing. And I actually have a process for this that I teach in my online course. And if anybody's just looking to get the support without the coaching, you can grab my online course down below and get that for lifetime access. I actually include visualizations in there too that will definitely support you in this exact journey of quitting drinking or losing weight or trying to establish healthy habits. But the social scene, that is a difficult one, especially if you have friends who are constantly doing that too. But what I've found is that if I'm confident with my decisions and I enter into a situation with, oh no, I'm just going to get a water, or, oh, let me get a club soda. That sounds really good with like lemon and lime. I'm like so thirsty. You know, you don't even have to justify yourself, but if you feel like you need to, be confident in whatever decision you're making. Just because everybody else is drinking doesn't mean you have to too. Why can't you be the one that just says, I'm good. I'm just going to have a club soda tonight. I'm really thirsty and I have a really early morning tomorrow. No one's going to bother you with that or say, oh, okay. You know, do whatever you have to do to stick to your specific goals. And if you watched my previous video about Great Wolf Lodge, maybe don't put yourself in too many situations early on in that first month where you're going to be tempted, because it's just unnecessary. We have to get the alcohol out of our system and we need to get our mindset clear on where we're going, what we want out of life, why we're making the decision we're making, and to allow that to be solid in our new belief system. Because we're going to default back to what feels familiar. Even if we're trying to quit drinking, we're going to default back to drinking and wanting to drink because it's so familiar. Instead, we need to build up some confidence and some time behind us to actually get to the point where we make different default decisions. This was a big one. So what are you drinking instead? Because water just can get a little bit boring. So what is my favorite mocktails and things to order when you're going out to eat? And I will go over every single one of them because the list is not super long, but everything on it is like tried and true things that I absolutely love. So the first thing I like to do if I'm trying to be super clean is get club soda. Club soda is nice and bubbly. You can get it at any single restaurant and I love it. And then I will ask for lemon and lime as well and then mix both of them in there. It's even better at this one bar and grill we used to go to. They actually would juice their own lemons and limes right in front of you because they would make these like craft cocktails. So I said to the waitress when I was pregnant, I figured this out. I was like, can you just add some of your like lemon lime mixture into my club soda? She's like, oh yeah, sure. It was the best thing ever. It was so refreshing. And nothing beats that one place's lemon lime juice mixture, but I do recreate that at home. I did that a lot because I wanted something bubbly and something citrusy and something fresh and refreshing, but I didn't want obviously any of the alcohol. So it kind of replaced the champagne type of bubbly feel for me, but it also gives you that something to sip on that's totally guilt-free. And then if I'm trying to be not clean, I always go for Coke Zero. I love Coke Zero at a good restaurant, like a good fountain soda. Ooh, it's so good. And then I will mix lime in with that. It's perfection. It is so good. The weird thing is about me, I have so many weird things about me, if you haven't noticed that, but I don't drink soda at home ever, like ever. We have cans of soda in the fridge, all this stuff. I rarely drink soda at home. I will only get soda if I'm going through a drive-through or if we're actually out at a restaurant. And then for me, one of my biggest things was having a glass of wine while I was cooking dinner. And I had to replace that with something because I was just so used to like sipping on something while I was cooking. And I love cooking. I loved that whole routine ritual of doing that, especially on the weekends. This was like my main weekend thing where I would take a long time and make like a homemade sauce or, make a whole big dinner and it would be so amazing. However, I had to kind of break that tie between drinking and cooking. So for me, I started incorporating something that was just as good, but it wasn't alcohol. And that's where we're going to talk about today's video sponsor, Element. I actually started drinking the sparkling Element cans. This came in clutch for me because I would have, it's big. I would have one of these as I was cooking dinner and just sip on it. It's nice and bubbly. It's sweet and salty. These are perfection for taking your mind off of that alcohol. You can also get all different flavors for their packets. And the best part is not only are you curbing what you're currently doing and you're cleaning it up and making it healthier, but you're also getting the added benefits of electrolytes. So in here you get sodium, magnesium, and potassium, all in a perfect ratio to get you hydrated and replenish your electrolytes. So for me, this all started over a year ago when I was getting headaches out of nowhere. I was getting cramps and Charlie horses, even though I was drinking a ton of water. It was all because of electrolyte deficiency. Luckily, all of that got cleared up when I just started drinking more electrolytes into my day. So I drink one a day, whether it's a packet or a can, and it fits into my low carb lifestyle perfectly because it's 0 to 2 carbs for each packet or can. So it doesn't break the bank. The calories are extremely low. And what I've done now that it's Christmas, as you can see, very festive, they actually have their chocolate medley out right now. It only comes around once a year. This is perfection because I've been craving in the afternoons like a hot chocolate. This also helped me with my brain fog, with just how in the afternoons I would have that blah feeling. This snaps me right back into shape. I never miss a day with my electrolytes. And the opposite of alcohol, Element is awesome because there's no sugar, there's no gluten. It's perfect for a vegan lifestyle. It's also perfect for my low carb lifestyle. And the best part is anybody who uses my link and my code, you actually get a free sample pack. So with your next order, you get a sample pack. It looks just like this. In here are 8 of their most popular packet flavors. Go to drinkelement.com/heart. That's drinklmnt.com/heart, HART. Thank you to Element for sponsoring today's video. So for me, my favorite drinks, they just had to be replaced because the bond was still there. The bond is no longer there. I can cook dinner for 4 hours and I don't take a sip of anything. I probably should drink more water during that time. But I get so caught up with cooking now that the bond is no longer there. And that is probably my biggest, proudest moment of myself is that the time now has lapsed where I no longer associate drinking with doing something. It's no longer going out to eat and wanting to have a glass of wine. It's no longer cooking and then drinking or sipping on something that's alcoholic. The bond is broken. If I go to my sister's house, which I would always have wine there and a hard seltzer or something. No, I don't even think about it anymore. I don't even think about it anymore. So if you're in the boat where you're like, oh my gosh, like alcohol is a pretty big part of my life. Like I do it when I go here. I do it when I go here. I do it when I do this. Like, it feels like it's everywhere. Trust me that it doesn't have to be like that forever. And all you need is time. All you need is time and strategy. It's possible. I know it feels big. Alcohol can feel really big sometimes, and it can feel daunting, and it can feel like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to start because I'm already giving up. I don't believe that I can do this. Trust me, if you're feeling the urge, I'm getting close to you guys now. If you're feeling the urge to quit or cut back, please listen to that voice. Please. Our intuition is so powerful and so all-knowing that if we're getting the push and the urge to go and quit something like that and improve our health, we should always run towards that. Always run towards health. Don't ever get complacent and don't ever think you can't accomplish something because you totally can. 1000% you can. If I can do this, guys, you can. And I know I say that a lot, but I really, really, really mean that because the mindset is the only thing holding you back right now from weight loss, quitting alcohol, improving your health. That's it. So now we're going to move on to questions from the YouTube video from the other day. So how to quit when your spouse or loved one still drinks. My husband knows we have to quit for our health. When we met, I was his bartender and he was my happy hour guy. Just like when I went low carb from watching your videos, I had to do it first. And when he saw my results, he hopped on the bandwagon. I know I'm going to have to quit first and it's going to be super hard. First of all, reframe that mindset. It doesn't have to be super hard. Say, no, I have the tools. We have to reframe all of the things that are telling us, number one, that we can't do it. Number two, that it has to be hard. It doesn't. So we need to reframe those mindsets and shift over to what we actually want. So what do you actually want out of your experience? And then the cool part is you've already kind of solidified how this is going to go. And your comment, it speaks from your subconscious belief system. You believe that if you do it first, he'll follow. You did low carb from what it sounds like, and then he followed. So let that be what steers you because you already believe that. So just say, okay, I'm going to do this, and then he's going to follow me. That's your new affirmation. And then you get to decide how you want the journey to go. Does it have to be hard? No, it can be whatever you want it to be. So in this, what you can start saying to yourself is, ooh, when he's on day 1, I'm going to be on like day 15. and I'm going to be ahead of him. Or when he's on day 1, I'm going to be on day 20 and I'm going to be able to really help him. I'm going to help him navigate those first 20 days and he's going to love it because I'm going to be really able to help get him through it. Think about all of the positive things. If you're not shifting your mindset to positive, it's going to be really hard to accomplish any goal. It's all about how we look at things. It really is. And your comment is perfect because it really solidifies what you believe in your subconscious. So go with that. You already believe it. You don't have to clear anything. You already believe that. So let that be how it plays out in your experience. And also there was a lot of comments on the last video about how you guys are doing this too and to wish you good luck. I want nothing more than for every single person watching any of my videos, but especially this one, to always go for becoming the healthiest version of you. Always. I want you to run towards health and leave behind anything that isn't the healthiest version of you. So anyone who's thinking about quitting or already in the process or who has already done it, just know from me sitting in my living room, I am so proud of you. And you really need to sit here for 30 seconds, pause the video and think to yourself how proud you are of yourself for either deciding you want to make the change, for being in the process of making the change, or for having already done the change. It doesn't matter where you are in that process. Sit here with yourself and just think about how proud you are of yourself. Pause the video, do it right now. So I also got a lot of questions about timing. Is this the best time of the year to quit? It's November here. I decorated early, but it's November here and a lot of people are like, oh, it's the worst time. You guys, there's never been a better time. If your intuition is telling you to go for it, go for it. It's the same thing I say with weight loss. Don't ever hold yourself back from reaching your health goals. If you're feeling the nudge, it's the right time. It doesn't matter if it's the holidays. It doesn't matter. Are you going to have to troubleshoot a little bit more? Maybe. But that's what support is for. That's what coaching is for. That's what therapists are for. That's what we're here for. Don't feel like you have to white knuckle grip everything in life. Utilize the support that's available to you if and when you need it. But I think this is the best time to quit alcohol, obviously, because there's always going to be something. Once we hit New Year's, then you're going to be back in spring, and then it's summer again, and then you're right back here the holidays, It's like time is just going. We have to get to our goals as we're navigating life. That's one of my biggest things in my coaching is navigating clients through their life because it never stops, ever. No matter if you have kids or not, no matter if you're 20, no matter if you're 60, life doesn't stop nowadays. So we have to navigate and get to our goals while also living and loving our life. A lot of people that say that they have quit drinking already and that they feel amazing. So if you're dabbling in the thoughts, go read these comments because people are giving their expertise, giving their experience and just saying, oh my God, it was the best thing I ever did. I'm right there with you. I would encourage everyone and anyone to quit, cut back, cut out, whatever feels good to you because I feel like a new person. I really do. And then I had someone else share a story, which I thought was so good. So in my last video, I did say that I quit on April 22nd and I had some drinks on my birthday, which was June 15th. And I had so much support in this because it solidified. I didn't look at it as a mess up or a slip up or, I got to start back at day 1. For me, it was so much confirmation that what I was doing was the right thing because of how I felt. And to hear that full story, just click on part 1. I'll link it down below. But I had a follower write this. I can relate on your slip up. I smoked for 43 years. I went 2 weeks and was crazy. I have to have a cigarette. So I did. And I hated it. And I was over it. Done. And I think I'm on 13 years now. Crazy, I know, but it's like you need that reminder. Exactly. And that's the thing. Anything that we're doing in our life, you have to look at it in a positive way. It's happening for us. It's not happening to us. The shift in your mindset has to happen for you in order for you to receive your goals, in order for you to live a happy, fulfilling life, and in order for you to get to be your healthiest self. Because again, it's not just about our body. It's about our mind more. Isn't that crazy? A lot of people think, I just want to lose weight and get the weight down on the scale. But really, it's your mindset that's keeping your weight high. It's the way you think about weight loss. It's the way you think about the scale and food and your body image. It's the way that you process those thoughts that determine what your weight is right now. So if you're not working on reframing those thoughts and those limiting beliefs along with the healthy actions that you're trying to take, it's going to feel disconnected. It's going to feel like you can lose weight, but you can't maintain it. Or you can get a couple pounds down, but then you hit a plateau and you don't know why. You feel like you're trying all of the things, but you can't seem to lose weight, or you feel really frustrated and then it's going slow. All of those things are a direct correlation to your thought process, how you think and feel about food and weight and the scale and all the things. That's it. So that's why in my mentorships, we focus on both at the same time, because you have to heal that part of you in order to reach your goals. Well, it's the same thing with alcohol. Sometimes we slip up. And guess what? We learn from it. We move on. To me, my birthday solidified it so well for me, where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm never doing that again. And it felt so good to know that. June 16th sucked, not gonna lie. I felt like garbage on vacation, but it is what it is. It was worth it. Crazy enough, I'm sitting here months and months later saying it was worth it because it solidified my decision for me. And I have no temptations going into the holidays of wanting to drink at all. In fact, I'm like looking up recipes for mocktails I can make to bring to the functions or to have at my house. Like, I'm so excited for that. But again, drinking and celebrating no longer is a tied thing. I now celebrate without the drinking. It's just not there. Or if I want to do something fun and festive, I work that into the celebration, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same focus. It's not the same tied together. A couple questions too about my family and friends and my husband drinking. They all still drink when they want to. I'm not putting any kind of imaginary rules on people. I'm also not holding anyone to a certain standard. I can only control myself. So I can only control my reactions, my actions. I can only control my thoughts. So really, this is a great reminder that it doesn't matter, again, what anybody else is doing. It just doesn't matter. Am I tempted watching someone else drink? No, not at all. I wasn't even tempted in the very beginning because I'm very selective with the things that I would drink. We have behind this camera a bar full of some alcohol. I'm not tempted by any of it because I don't like to drink vodka. I don't like to drink whiskey. What else is back there? I don't want to drink rum. Like, I don't drink any of that. It's mostly for show at this point, or if people come over. But for me, like, I was a wine girl. I was a champagne girl, you know? So for me, if those things aren't in the house or around me, I'm fine. So now that I've gotten to this point in my journey too, I just don't even crave that anymore. Getting the craving out of your system was really important because that's like actual body chemistry and science and how long alcohol is in your bloodstream and how it affects you mentally and physically. Getting that out of your system after like 10 or 15 days, alcohol is fully out of your system. So then you can really start the process of healing. And then it just becomes anything that's a craving after that point is just a habit. And you guys know how I feel about habits. Habits can be changed whenever you want. It can be changed right now. You can change any habit, good or bad, right now. And that's what I love about being a human and living life is that we can literally decide, my favorite word, we can decide that we're going to change right now. We can, and we can reap the benefits almost immediately by our positive changes. Okay, so next question. Can you do a timeline on how things changed in your body? I mentioned in my past video, she says, like you said, 10 days, inflammation is down. What other things in your body are affected that start improving? So for me, I noticed right away my mental clarity started coming back within the first 5 days, I would say. And I attribute that to alcohol staying in your system between 10 to 15 days, depending on the person and how you process it, how strong your liver is working, all of the things. So I would say in that first 15 days is when you're going to really rapidly see the positive changes in your body. Your cravings, your addictiveness to the alcohol, and also the habit and routine of drinking it, that's separate. I'm only talking in this 10, 15 days about the actual benefits your body is going to see. Your inflammation in those first 10 to 15 days, your inflammation is going to go down day by day by day. It will decrease. As your alcohol leaves your system, your inflammation is also going to leave with it. So if you're doing this, hydrate, tons of water, flush out those cells, flush out those organs. It will help speed up that process and get you feeling your best. In losing inflammation, you are going to see it in your face. You're going to see it in your midsection. You're going to see it all throughout your body, and you're going to feel better because inflammation is just no fun. Inflammation is not the vibe. So once you see that leaving, it can kind of give you that boost of like, okay, I'm doing this. In those first 10 to 15 days, you'll also see your sleep improve because again, your body's not going to bed having to process all of this alcohol, which disrupts your sleep. So your organs are going to actually get to rest and do what they need to do and rejuvenate so that you can accomplish your next day. So sleep and inflammation, the two best things that we really want, those are going to happen in those first 15 days. Now, The craving, addiction, habit part of alcohol is going to be the thing that you need to work through. Like I said, get with someone who can help you work through it. Do some research online so that you feel confident in doing it, and stick to your whys. Why are you doing this in the first place? Why did you want to quit? And really remind yourself on a daily basis, why am I doing this? Why did I start? Because you are going to have that devil angel start saying, you can have one drink. Come on. We don't have to quit totally. We can just cut back. Then the angel is going to say, well, wait a minute. No, we don't want it. We said we were going to quit. We said this was going to be the end of it. We wanted to so bad last week. But once you get a few days of sobriety under your belt, you do start having that conversation. I personally did that so many times where then I caved and I went right back to where I was, drinking as much as I was before. There was no cutting back for me, but that's just me and my personality and my journey. So for me, I needed to literally say, I'm done, and just move forward with that decision and not let anything sway me and not drink the drinks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it answered all of your questions. If you do have additional ones, leave them down below. And don't forget to check out Element and my coaching opportunities if you do need support in any of these areas of weight loss and incorporating new healthy habits into your life. But until next time, I'll see you guys. Have a great day. Bye.